Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, Sabrina Daly and Paul Lopez.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm Sabrina Daly.
I'm Paul Lopez.
And good morning,
Good
Paul.
morning.
How we doing?
Doing good. It's
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, Friday Junior,
Yep.
as we once said. But yeah, it's a great Thursday morning. It's a great Thursday to be thankful, to look forward to another weekend ahead of us. I know it was a short work week.
I feel like I haven't seen you in a minute, right?
I haven't been on set since last week, Friday.
Yeah.
Right? So it's only been a couple of days, honestly.
Yeah.
And I enjoy the little break that I get in the mornings, as thankful as I am to be on the morning show.
All right. Well, let's jump into what we have lined up for you guys in terms of conversations this morning. Starting off with preserving Belize's barrier reef with Belize Fund. Also, Mattie Rotter strengthens community through Sisterhood, or Mattie Rotter. Belize Gospel Concert takes the stage. I know over the weekend there was also the Christian concert that was at the Civic.
Fest.
The Jesus
I was
Fest.
there. It was amazing.
Well, if you want a round two to that, this might be an option. And then showcasing business excellence at the Spanish Lookout Expo.
Yeah, certainly. So I was at the event this weekend, the Jesus Festival, where Positive
It looked jam-packed,
Trinity.
Paul.
It was. That's the thing, right?
That was amazing. I saw pictures and videos.
It shows that there is a desire for positive events in Belize.
Yeah.
And not to knock the other events that are taking place, but when you have these sort of Christian gospel-based events, it could reach a wider audience of people that may not be into the sort of other types of events, and even those that may be into it but also looking for something different. And I think that is what led to the Civic being packed out.
Yeah.
I mean, the floor pack, seating pack.
Seating park.
Yeah, that may almost like what NEBL finals type of.
Really?
Or maybe like when they play volleyball.
Okay, got you.
Like a volleyball championship type of thing. But
No, it looked amazing.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
In any event, here are the things that you need to know and we'll be discussing this morning. First, Belize investigates elderly American found on drifting catamaran. That was a developing story yesterday. We'll talk about it this morning. The future of Cuban medics in Belize remains uncertain, and I dare say Cuban medics across the Caribbean.
Yeah.
PUC declares BTL dominant across the telecom markets. That was one of the discussions had yesterday morning. Well, throughout the course of yesterday, we spoke with representatives from the Cable Association, and we also looked at what Smart or SpeedNet had to say about the BTL's dominance in the telecoms market. Free secondary education moves closer to reality. PM Brisenia says 60% of all secondary school students across the country will be going to school for free in the 2026 fiscal year. And last but certainly not least, opposition leader slams budget as incredulous. You know what that word means? Now a small but a big, mighty word. We're going to talk about it.
All right. Yeah, I know that we haven't gotten the full opposition reaction in terms of the debate, but yesterday we were able to hear from the leader of the opposition, Tracy Tager Panton, just to get immediate reactions on her thoughts on it. And as we would expect, Paul, there is the opposing view coming from the opposition side. She essentially spoke about it lacking that people-centeredness to it, highlighting that it's more kind of like painting this picture of prosperity, which isn't necessarily real. Interestingly, I posed a very similar position yesterday on the morning show with Isani, right? So I was asking, for me, one of the questions that I always ask whenever there's these budget presentations, because it's easy to get overwhelmed with a lot of numbers being thrown around, right? Especially when they're in the millions and billions, or we can't count, or we have never seen our life, right?
Speak for yourself.
Paul was like,
I'm
speak
on
for
the road.
yourself.
I'm on the way.
I'm almost there. But for me, right, what I always ask is, based on what is being shared, have I felt anything close to this the year before? And based on what I felt, do I feel hopeful on what is being presented for this coming fiscal year? There are certain things I can say I have benefited from, and I say kudos to people that I know are immediately being impacted. When we speak about the education system and the fact that we are now inching closer and closer to having a full government schools providing free secondary education, you can't fight that. You can't deny that. And so I say kudos to the government for that. When we also talk about NHI, I had dengue, Paul. I had to find myself the one doctor as immediately as possible. And so there has been times that I've benefited from NHI as well. And so I say kudos to them for providing that. But in other areas, I have to say, just like the regular folk, when we go to the grocery store, we wonder, is this going to be our reality? Because inflation doesn't decrease, that the cost of goods no go down. And so that's a common question that we will be hearing, I imagine. And of course, I'm also looking forward to the debate presentation from the opposition side as well.
I think what makes this Briceño administration stands out at this specific time is that the works that they're undertaking, it's evident because it's in motion, right? So you mentioned a few good ones.
And a lot of them are long-term.
A lot are long-term, but they're already in the process.
Yeah.
And then some of them are medium-term. So you mentioned some good ones. You mentioned NHI. You mentioned free education. Infrastructure is another big one.
I was gonna get to
Across
that.
the country, we're seeing works done, not only on the
bridges
roads and the
highways.
bridges, but people are actually constructing and building stuff across the country, right? So infrastructure is another good one where we're seeing things happen. And another one was on my mind, it kind of slipped me.
I was also looking at sports.
Well,
sports is a huge one when we think of...
There's a lot to be left to be desired with sports, but let me hear what your thoughts on sports
No, I was going to say,
is.
just to see that there's, in just the presentation from the Prime Minister yesterday, over $1 million being allocated to just infrastructure development, which, I mean, aside from
In
that...
terms of sports infrastructure.
Just that alone. I mean, and I imagine that's just what is dedicated to that so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the budget will look like, in particular for youth and sports as well.
Right. But those are the main three areas: health, education, infrastructure, and you could probably throw in national security as well, because they're investing heavily in national security, and these are areas that Belizeans can relate to for various reasons. And you're right to speak about the cost of living still being an impact at the grocery store. What I find interesting about the leader of the opposition's comments yesterday is that she made mention of one thing, that the Briceño administration is heavily reliant on taxes as a way to generate the income needed in, for example, this year's $1.9 billion expense budget. So the Briceño administration proposes to spend $1.9 billion this year with a B. And when you look at the budget, $1.5 billion of that money will come from taxes.
Yeah.
So it's sales tax, it's income tax, it's taxes from import stuff, it's business tax as well. So taxes, this is where that large sum will come from. And what the leader of the opposition is saying is that, well, the people are being taxed to death, in essence. But what I think she fails to mention, and what a lot of Belizeans may miss, is that this is essentially how governments get their revenue, through taxes.
Yeah.
This is nothing new, right? So in the 2024 budget, for example, the proposed expense was $1.6 million, $1.6 billion. Taxes alone accounted in revenue for $1.3 billion. So almost 90% of the expenses came from taxes. In 2023, $1.5 billion expense, $1.3 billion from taxes. All I'm saying, and just to avoid being accused of being biased, under the UDP administration,
We were
it
also
was the
taxed.
same thing. Just
Yeah.
one final example, looking at 2017, $1.1 billion in proposed expenses. How much in taxes did they collect in revenue? $1 billion in tax revenue. 90% of the income generated by the government comes from taxes. And so taxes isn't the issue, because that is how governments make money. It's a PUP, it's a UDP approach. And we just have to figure out how to get more creative to generate more revenue and not tax people to hell, in a sense.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to move things along, because I know that there are other topics that we want to jump into. I know that yesterday there was a very interesting story that came out of a catamaran that was found floating by on an island, and there was a distress call, I believe, that was also made. And it was later discovered that a dead body was found inside this catamaran, as you are seeing on screen right now. I believe the identity of the individual has not been officially named as yet or revealed as yet, but an investigation is currently underway, and we are trying to wait for further details. But certainly one of those types of stories that's just strange, yes?
Well, yeah, strange for many reasons. What we learned yesterday from the CEO in the Ministry of National Security is that an investigation has been launched, simply and in part, one, because injuries were identified on the body, and there was the body was in a severe state of decomposition, and so they had to take it to the forensics lab for an autopsy to be done, and it is through this autopsy that they will seek to determine the cause of death. The distress call came in on Monday, Sabrina, and because the vessel was far east, according to the CEO, officials and authorities from Belize couldn't venture that far to intercept the vessel. However, the female on board was rescued in the early stages by a cruise ship. And so she boarded the cruise ship, and the authorities were aware that the catamaran was out there still drifting.
But she made a distress call, right?
Right, so she made a distress call, but the cruise ship couldn't bring in the catamaran, and she wouldn't stay on the catamaran if there was an opportunity for her to be rescued.
But that's still strange, Paul, because you basically, well,
I mean,
technically not. I mean, if that was the only help she had.
I am not arguing for any side, but I'm just thinking rationally. If I'm on a catamaran and the catamaran is drifting off at sea, there's my dead partner on the vessel. I can't do nothing to help that person. A vessel comes, a cruise ship comes and says, "Hey, you okay?" Well, perhaps it was radioed into the to the cruise ship, and she jumps on board. gets rescued because they can't help the deceased person on the boat.
Which was identified or named as her husband.
That's what police said. Police said it's her husband. But where the thing took a turn is that, well, what the Belizean authorities waited for, they waited for the tides to work and the currents to work to bring the catamaran closer to Belize. And when the catamaran reached at a certain point where they could have intercepted it and towed it in, that's when they did what they did. And what they found on the vessel was enough to launch an investigation to determine conclusively whether or not this is a natural death
or foul play,
or whether foul play was involved.
Because apparently she said that her husband suffered from cardiac arrest.
Yeah,
however,
a heart
when
attack.
Essentially yes, but when they went, they discovered that there was like blood spots on him on the boat as well.
Well, that's what I'm hearing from other reports. The CEO didn't. We said that.
Yes.
Okay. So we said that. I didn't hear the CEO say that definitely. What I did hear him say was that there were injuries on the body, and it was those injuries or apparent injuries that led to an investigation. So we'll just have to see how this one plays out. He says that the CEO said that he spoke to the son of the deceased, and the son said that the vessel had left from Livingston, Guatemala over the weekend.
All right. Well, let's move things along.
Yeah, so we could jump from that. A lot of these, we could jump into the PUC situation, right? Which is very complex in nature. And so I'll see how I could condense my thoughts on this one. Because yesterday you all spoke about the fact that
BTL is a dominant
player. The
player.
PUC has declared BTL as a dominant player. And then we went ahead and we spoke with the cable providers, the chairman of the Cable Association. And he helped us to better understand from the cable operators and providers' perspective why they consider, in their view, and they were part of the consultation process, BTL as a dominant provider. And I learned a few things yesterday about how cable works in Belize. For example, one of the ways they view BTL as a dominant provider is that they have to depend on BTL to access these satellite cables that essentially connects the world's internet, right? And so there's cable satellite, there's submarine cables, that connects the world's internet, and they have to rely on BTL to access that service. BTL sells that service to them. But at the same time, while BTL sells that service to them and BTL can put a price on that service to access the bandwidth, BTL also deals in internet service as well. So BTL sells the service to cable providers, and then BTL goes about and they market their own internet. And so what they're saying is that while BTL can name its price for access to those submarine cables, they can, and they believe, and they say, they argue that BTL marks up the price for them, but at the same time competes with them in that same market for the internet service, right? And then the other thing they're saying is that what BTL does also is BTL bundles their service. So BTL a phone service, home internet, home phone, DigiTV, etc., while the cable providers can only offer a limited amount of services. So again,
they're saying as well that they would want to offer
so
those bundles to level the playing
what they
field,
want
right?
to do to level the playing field is they want to also offer home service. So on one hand, you have access to the bandwidth that they say BTL controls. On the other hand, you have the bundling that they say BTL is far superior in terms of the service, in terms of the bundles that they can offer. So they're asking for the level playing field. But what comes to mind and what we're beginning to ask and discuss is if legislation will change the shape of the market in terms of BTL's competition getting more market share, then what does that do for GOB's and SSB's investment in BTL.
Which is by extension our investment as well.
Which is by extension our investment. So BTL holding the majority, the largest share in the market, BTL being the dominant force in the market, essentially, one would argue, or one can argue, bodes well for GOB and SSB's investment, right? Because then the largest profit comes to those investments. But if the market is broken down further and the cable providers gets a bigger share of the market, for example, SpeedNets get a bigger share of the market, then inevitably BTL will earn less. So GOB's shares will earn less, one can argue, and SSB's shares will earn less over time. And we're talking about a company that the Prime Minister, that the chairman of BTL has already said has flatlined in terms of income generation and in terms of profits.
Yeah.
And could very well, they're arguing, die within the next 5 years.
Out, right?
So it's aging out and could die within the next 5 years. And you have to ask if then this is an argument for the acquisition of SpeedNet. Instead of breaking up the shares in the market and say you get a bigger piece, you get a bigger piece, and you get a smaller piece, then does it make more sense for BTL to acquire SpeedNet so that SSB and GOB's shares are more secure, right? That's the conversations we're seeing taking place right now.
Because now we're thinking for ourselves then. We're thinking of our personal investment, which is so interesting because it goes right back to the conversation
you would
that we were having.
You would have thought that the conversation surrounding dominant market would have perhaps gone in a different direction, would have served to create more of a fairer market, but now concerns are being raised about what does it mean for BTL shares and what does it mean for GOB and SSB's investment in telecommunications in Belize.
All right. Well, we do have to continue monitoring that and seeing what updates come out of that conversation. If you have any thoughts on that, you can also let us know. At this time, though, we do have to wrap up some of the things we think you should know. We are going to head now into our Eye on the Weather, courtesy the folks from the National Meteorological Service. All right, here is our weather forecast brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service. Today's forecast will be sunny with cloudy spells and cloudy at times tonight. Showers will be isolated with a medium chance of isolated thunderstorms developing over the Maya Mountains this evening. Then tonight, a few showers and isolated thunderstorms will likely affect mainly northern and some central areas. In terms of temperatures, coastal areas will experience highs of 86 degrees Fahrenheit, dropping to lows of 74. Inland, it's expected to get a bit warmer for highs, 91 degrees Fahrenheit. However, their lows will drop as low as 68 degrees. And then in the hills, highs of 83 degrees Fahrenheit, and then dropping to lows of 62. In terms of our extended forecast for Friday through to Monday for inland and coastal areas, you can expect temperatures for highs as 82 and 86 on Friday, dropping to lows of 74 and 68. On Saturday and Sunday, very similar temperatures, 85 and 90, 86 and 91 for inland and coastal areas, 75 and 68, 77 and 70 for lower temperatures. And then on Monday, 88 and 94 for highs, dropping to lows of 79 and 74, again for inland and coastal areas. The sun rose this morning at 6:02 a.m. and it's set to set at 6:02 p.m. The moon set will take place at 12:24 a.m. and the moon rises tomorrow at 2:09 a.m. The sea state is choppy with winds blowing from east to northeast at 5 to 15 knots. And in terms of tides, today's high tide took place at 6:31 a.m. and a low tide will take place at 9:26 a.m. However, another high tide will take place at 4:21 p.m. and then tomorrow another low tide at 12:56 a.m. And that does it for our Eye on the Weather, brought to you by the folks from the National Meteorological Service. Paul, back to you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that weather update, Sabrina. What we're going to do right now is take a quick break, and when we come back, it's all about preserving Belize's barrier reef with the Belize Fund.
A postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, text, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
What happens when you step off the edge?
Too late to back out now. He said I'm ready. No, I'm not.
And land somewhere unexpected. Sometimes it breaks you open. Wild at root,
That is very bitter.
but sweet on the tongue. Where history calls out, and you answer with open arms. This isn't just a journey. It's across borders.
That was amazing!
Glenfield Dennison was caught trying to charge BTL for negotiations on behalf of former workers.
He insists he never charged the workers group a cent and claims the invoice was only a negotiating tactic.
If the invoice was just a negotiating tactic, why would Dennison ask BTL to pay the legal fees as part of settlement? And if BTL had agreed, who would have received payment? Dennison, of course, because he sent the invoice the day after the last negotiations to be considered with the 4.5% interest requested by BCWJ. What's worse, the cost of legal work submitted is grossly inflated. Those are senior counsel rates, and Dennison is not a senior counsel. As to the tax identification number on the invoice, no such TIN number is registered with GST. So, we must also ask whether he is licensed with the FIU as required. There's also the question of whether as a Crown Counsel Dennison violated the public service rules which state, a judicial and legal officer shall not engage in any private legal work or private business of a legal nature. It's time for him to stop the games and come clean.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We are jumping into our first conversation, and it is all about preserving Belize's barrier reef with Belize Fund. I'm joined this morning by Chelsea Gill Anthony. She's a communications officer representing Belize Fund. Good morning, Chelsea. Good morning. Also with us is Miss Desiree Arzu. She's the communications coordinator representing the Wildlife Conservation Society of Belize, also representing the members of Reef Week Public Relations Subcommittee.
Thank you for
Ladies,
having us. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Now, I have to say, I feel like I've gained 2 new friends after last week's event. It was the EcoLens Summit, and the Belize Fund was also very active in the organizing of that event. I also saw Miss Des there as well. So, ladies, it has been a pleasure working alongside you guys, and I'm really looking forward to highlighting a little bit more the work that you individually do, and of course your respective organizations. When we talk about preserving the Belize Barrier Reef, I think there's a sense of pride that each Belizean have, right? Because the Barrier Reef is the Great Barrier Reef, right? You know,
It's the largest reef in the world.
exactly. It's a part of our tourism statement that we walk around and we say as well. Let's begin with that, the pride that each of us have, and why it's so important for us to preserve that as well.
I like that you mentioned pride because it's entirely a part of our identity. It's what makes us who we are as Belizeans. And I feel like everybody, even if they have not gone out to sea, to a beach, that they should know about this incredibly wonderful heritage that we have.
Yeah. How about you, Miss Des?
Oh yeah, I can't swim, but I like go out in the sea. I like being on the waters because it brings a different feeling, especially if you're probably having a bad week, you're overwhelmed with work or whatever it is, you're stressed out. Go on a boat or go in the water, in salt water, and it's like a different feeling. You get refreshed. So for that reason, I think that we are so blessed in Belize to have the Barrier Reef, and even though at this time the reports about the reef are not that healthy, I think we still have an obligation because, like Chelsea said, it's part of us. It's our culture. We still have that obligation to do our part. And there are small things that we can do to help protect the Barrier Reef. And I think I can segue into the theme that we're having this year for Reef Week, which we're celebrating right now from the 7th to the 14th of March. Right. Fui Roots. Fui Reef, Fui Roots, connecting communities, empowering youth. So the idea of not just what we both said, that it's part of us, it's our roots, it's our culture, that Fui Reef, but also how do we connect these communities, how do we empower young people to be a part of the conservation, to be a part of the work that we, as these 2 organizations, even though Belize Fund are the funders, they have the money, but they fund organizations like WCS to continue this work of conservation.
How does the reef protect us in natural disasters?
So it's a shoreline defense. Definitely plays a big part in climate resilience. And so the corals or mangroves, all of these interconnected ecosystems play a very big role. And yesterday, Ms. Des would have mentioned our inland activities and how critical it is. Like, you wouldn't think farmers play
I was going to go there.
Farmers play a role.
Well,
Taxi drivers play a role. You know, it may be indirect, but still significant. So with the farmers, you have the runoffs from what they use in their farming, that ridge to reef connection. And then you have the tour operators, the taxi drivers, those who have to take and transport, visitors to these destinations. So they all play a role.
So I'm hearing you say that my lifestyle in San Ignacio,
yes,
along the Macal River, could affect the reef where they're hundreds of miles away from me?
Absolutely. And a simple thing like how we dispose of our trash.
Oh, wow.
So you might say, well, that's just in my yard, dirty day, school compound, same thing, but the breeze could carry it there. And all of these things, all of our actions, be it small, large, it does play a role.
We often boast about having the second largest barrier reef in the world, but the largest living barrier reef in the world. Ms. Des would have also highlighted moments ago that our reef's health is not at the best as it once was.
Yes.
Talk about what that has looked like in terms of changes and what has potentially attributed to it.
I know I can't really speak like in detail because I don't have the science background, but I know that the there's a grading scale that they use, and it's across 4 countries because the Mesoamerica Barrier Reef runs through 4 countries. For those who may not know, it runs through Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, and Belize. And Belize actually has 30% of the entire Mesoamerica Barrier Reef, and Mexico has the largest portion, with Honduras, with Guatemala the smallest portion. So researchers, scientists go out every year to, it's a constant thing. They are monitoring the corals, they're monitoring the megafauna, they're monitoring across the board everything that the reef is made of. And this is across these 4 countries. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, and maybe Chelsea could back me up on this, I believe of all 4 countries, Belize is looking better than those 4 countries, but it's still not that good.
Yeah, not to our standard,
yes,
perhaps.
The grading has definitely gone down over the years, and I think some of it is contributed or can be contributed to coral reef destruction from the what is called a stony lost coral tissue disease, and global warming. The waters are getting warmer, it's getting warmer, species are moving away. It's a lot of things contributing to it. So even though we can do our part, and I will emphasize that we should, there are other natural things that are happening that we cannot control.
Representing the Wildlife Conservation Society Belize, what's the type of work coming out of that organization that aligns with reef restoration and just even highlighting Reef Week, for example?
Yes. So we have our technical people who go out and monitor. We look at, for example, right now it's a closed season for the Nassau grouper. So we're doing spawning aggregations, which are to see where the Nassau grouper, they are spawning, they're mating, and what is the population of these fish. We've been seeing like a downward trend in population of these fish. So that's something that we do throughout the course of the year. Well, not throughout the course of the year, but specifically during the closed season. We also do coral reef monitoring as well, and we join other organizations like Fragments of Hope to help do coral restoration as well. We do long-term atoll monitoring program. There's a program called LAMP for short, and that is done at Saltwater Key Marine Reserve as well as Glovers, where we have our research station or marine research station. So Glovers Reef Marine Research Station is on Middle Key, and that is also an area or a facility where scientists, both local and international, and students who are doing marine biology can go and do research work. And we've had a lot of visitors there. So that is just a small portion of the work that we do at WCS to help look at the reef and to help, keep it alive.
And on the Belize Funds part, how do you all invest in reef health?
So, as Mr. would have mentioned, I'm sorry my throat is not cooperating with me this morning, but we are conservation trust fund, private conservation trust fund, and so we do provide funding for research, for climate adaptation, for blue business innovation, those types of activities. So we would provide funding, or we have provided funding to WCS, so Fragments of Hope doing those planting and restoration work with corals, Mar Alliance doing research with the megafaunas, the rays, the turtles, the sharks. So, and even I'm mentioning those big organizations, but we do fund smaller community groups that take on at a very lower scale a lot of work in their community. So for example, mangrove restoration up in Corozal side, Shark Fishers Association, they're doing, yes, down south. So we have to look for initiatives that contribute to the overall Blue Bonds. But I want to just bring it back to what Sabrina had mentioned about the EcoLens Summit. So we partnered with PAC for 5 years, and the summit, the conservation summit that we had last week, was one of the activities. And another activity in collaboration with Reef Week, PAC and Belize Fund is co-hosting a scavenger hunt for protected areas for young people, right? And so we're inviting standards 4, 5, and 6 and first and second farms to tell us about, a cool fact about tree protected areas, what Reef mean to them, that connection for we roots, for we Reef, yes, and bring the creativity, right?
Ladies, I'm here thinking to myself, and I want to break this down regular for anybody tuning in right now, because it was a conversation that I also had with someone at EcoLens last week. And he spoke about the fact that when it comes to funding, some organizations find it easier to get funding for restoration, to fix a problem, rather than preventing it. And so in the case of like Reef Week, when we think of advocating for the protection of our barrier reef and our reef in general, that could be seen as proactive, right? We're trying to prevent these issues from furthering and taking place. And that's also a part of culture even. Do you find it challenging pushing the proactive measures rather than the reactive? Because when it comes to funding, I imagine even there's more funding available for support after, for the restoration part, rather than protecting what we already have, make we keep it alive,
It's absolutely difficult to drive that personal motivation to take action, and that is why we're hoping with the over 30 odd organizations participating in Reef Week that this collective action, as the years go by, everybody know come March, Reef Week, we do something, but even beyond Reef Week, that we still take it personal and do our best to take action.
What would you say to a...
Can I respond?
Absolutely.
For me, I think it's more challenging with adults, and I don't want anybody to jump on me for that. And the reason is because a lot of adults are already stuck in their ways, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to bring the message of conservation and being proactive to those adults. However, I love working with students. I love working with children, and that's the approach that WCS has been taking over the past few years, where we do a lot of outreach and engagement with young people. We go into the schools, and you may recall, because I think Channel 5 did a small coverage for a competition that we had a couple years back called the Maya Forest Corridor Storytelling Competition. That was the first ever.
That was nice.
And that's where we engage upper division students who are within the Maya Forest Corridor area in communities like Hatterville, La Democracia, Mahogany Heights, Cotton Tree, St. Matthews, and even the Belize River Valley area. And we ask them to identify what are some of the issues happening within the MFC, the Maya Forest Corridor, and not just stop at what are the issues, but they find out for themselves or make suggestions on how those issues can be addressed.
Yeah.
So let's say we're looking at illegal hunting within the MFC. What are some of the things that we can do to stop illegal hunting? So they identify some of those issues. So I think working with the younger people for me is easier. It's not as challenging as trying to convince adults who have their minds made up already most of the times to change that behavior.
The thing is, though, in terms of the Maya corridor, a lot of these kids probably saw themselves in that community that would impact them one way or another. When I think of the barrier reef, I think of, as Paul mentioned, Sartaneja. When I didn't even see the barrier reef before. I don't know, how do you send that message to people who might never see the barrier reef and don't understand how it protects them, don't understand the bigger picture other than it's a part of Belize?
I think that's where education and awareness and outreach plays a part. This week we have been speaking with students who don't even know what a manatee is. And as Belizeans, at minimum, just like how we know the toucan and tapir, manatee very iconic to Belize.
Yes.
Right? So we have to continue that conversation and involving them, and also have creative, but like Ms. Des says, we have to create that space for them to contribute, because they can be speaking, but we don't take what they say. They don't have much influence when it comes to changing policies, or even those who make the decisions. So we have to be more intentional in creating that space where they can make meaningful contributions.
And they can influence their parents, actually, and the parents can influence the legislators. So I think it's a good way to start on. I think back to your question of how do you reach those people who might not even know that the barrier reef exists. I think maybe if you connect it with some sort of livelihood, I'm sure a lot of people have family members who are fishers or who are tour guides. So maybe if you connect that back to those people who have jobs who actually need the reef to survive, that could be a start as well, which we have been doing.
And then when you think about culture too, you could imagine no lobster fest,
right?
No hudut, you know, things that are deeply ingrained in our culture that we see on an annual basis.
Or just the protection that the barrier reef serves. Imagine a hurricane season, you know, got your reef to protect you, you know, things like that. You might scare people into wanting to protect them, but that also works too.
And I think another thing which some organizations have been doing is offering trips to students and the public to these sites so they can actually see what's going on there, the beauty of it, and, you know, try to help them get that message across as well.
Yeah, because it's not every day that and it's not everyone that has the opportunity to. So tell us a bit about what the calendar looks like for Reef Week.
So, you want to go ahead?
No, you go ahead.
So a big one, Reef Fair on Friday at the Memorial Park starting at 9. And so we want persons to come out and visit the various organizations who will be having their booths and talking about their work. There is also the Reef Run on Saturday, hosted by WWF and Healthy Reefs. That starts at 6 out at Memorial, but if you're down south, there is the Lionfish Shootout that C is hosting and a series of online activities.
What's a lionfish shootout?
So I think they have various categories. So for the smallest lionfish, for the biggest, who catch the most. It's just a competition.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you know lionfish is very invasive to our reef.
Yeah. And the good thing about the Reef Week calendar, if you look at it, there are activities for everybody. I say for the young, for the one that we think they're young, and for the old. So if you can't go out in person, there are things online that you can participate in.
Yes, and even beyond Reef Week, the work continues.
Exactly.
For people who are moved by, you know, the efforts coming out of your individual organizations, how can they reach out and provide support?
That's a good question. For now, during Reef Week, we have the Reef Week Belize page, and that is also, it's not as active as it is during the week, but it's active during the course of the year. And for WCS or social media pages are WCS Belize. It's on Facebook and Instagram, and I believe Belize Fun as well. And all of these organizations that you see on the Reef Week calendar, they also have social media pages. So you can reach out to us there. We have our website at belize.wcs.org, where you can find information as well, especially like for students or people doing research. There's information there that you can find.
Yeah. And in terms of Belize Fund, how do you know if you might actually be the type of organization that can get funding from your organization?
Yes, so they just have to keep up with our pages, belizefund.bz. Our website is the same, belizefund.bz, and look out for information. We'll have those in the upcoming weeks. We'll be announcing also those who were approved as new grantees for us. So just keep up to date with that.
Excellent. Well, ladies, in my eyes, you all are reef champions. You all are giving voice to a part of our nature and our identity that doesn't necessarily have a voice and can't speak for itself. And so I want to thank you both so much for your work.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right. Well, we do have a motivational quote this morning, and it comes from Theodore Roosevelt, and it goes like this: "Far and away, the best prize that life offers is the chance to work hard at work worth doing." And I believe that was also a wonderful quote that we shared yesterday. Still very much, true today. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we take a quick break, but don't go anywhere. When we come back, Mattie Rogers strengthens community through Sisterhood.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Greetings, Belize. It is my privilege to address you as we officially open Women's Month 2026 under the theme Balance the Scales. This theme is both a challenge and a promise. It calls us to build a Belize where fairness is lived, where dignity is upheld, and where every woman and girl can stand on equal ground. Belizean women are caregivers, community builders, innovators, and entrepreneurs. They shape the young minds of our nation. They are artists, farmers, healers, and leaders. Their resilience anchors families. Their creativity fuels progress, and their leadership moves Belize forward. We honor the diversity of Belizean womanhood, young women, senior women, women with disabilities, and LGBTQ+ women. Each carries a story that strengthens the fabric of our society. As we celebrate, we must also reflect. Balancing the scales means confronting the barriers that still exist: economic inequality, underrepresentation in decision-making, and the continued threat of violence and discrimination. It means examining where inequity appears in our systems, in our policies, and even in our cultural norms, and making deliberate shifts towards fairness. Through the Ministry of Human Development, Family Support, and Gender Affairs, we are strengthening coordinated responses to gender-based violence, expanding family support services, and advancing gender-responsive policies that promote economic participation and leadership for women. As a nation, we remain committed to strengthening protection systems, expanding opportunities, and ensuring equitable access to services, and engaging men and boys as active partners in building respectful communities. When women in Belize are safe, families are stronger. When women are empowered, communities are more resilient. And when girls are supported, our nation's future is secured. Balancing the scales doesn't diminish anyone, it strengthens us all. This Women's Month, let us move beyond symbolism and continue the structural work that ensures equality is not only spoken about, but experienced. Together, let us shift the weight toward justice. Together, let us build a Belize where every woman and girl can rise, contribute, and thrive. Happy Women's Month, Belize.
Glenfield Dennison was caught trying to charge BTL for negotiations on behalf of former workers.
He insists he never charged the workers group a cent and claims the invoice was only a negotiating tactic.
If the invoice was just a negotiating tactic, why would Dennison ask BTL to pay the legal fees as part of settlement? And if BTL had agreed, who would have received payment? Dennison, of course, because he sent the invoice the day after the last negotiations to be considered with the 4.5% interest requested by BCWJ. What's worse, the cost of legal work submitted is grossly inflated. Those are senior counsel rates, and Dennison is not a senior counsel. As to the tax identification number on the invoice, no such TIN number is registered with GST. So, we must also ask whether he is licensed with the FIU as required. There's also the question of whether as a Crown Counsel Dennison violated the public service rules which state a judicial and legal officer shall not engage in any private legal work or private business of a legal nature. It's time for him to stop the games and come clean.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying tuned with us. This is an interesting conversation about community and giving back, about sisterhood, And we have joining us on set the president of the Mattie Women Outreach Organization, or Mr. Woo,
Mr.
for
Woo.
short, Roxanne Marin. And she's joined by Secretary of the organization, Darlene Aspinall-Morant. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Thanks
Grand
thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure to have both of you. So let's start by getting a background in summary of the Mattie Women Outreach Organization and the work that you all do. Ms. Marin?
Mattie Women's Outreach Organization started in the early 2000s. There was a Peace Corps in Belize by the name of Mattie and she was very instrumental in trying to do outreach in the different communities. And so when her tenure was up and she left, she passed over to Ms. Virginia Eccles, who is the original director of this organization. Both are Americans. And so when Ms. Mattie had left the country, one of the things that we were doing at the time was to visit the female section only of the prison. And so she had a vehicle. Transportation is always a challenge in Belize. And so she sold the vehicle to Ms. Virginia for a very discounted price so that we were able to have the transportation to continue going to the prison. The years we went on the last Sunday of the month, we did mentorship, worship, we did different programs, you know, sewing, cosmetology. We prepared them if they wanted to go out and do an interview. We had an active garden program, you know, whenever there was Mother's Day, Christmas, we'd do different programs for them. We'd bring in people to speak on different topics for them. And so the donations were always coming in at the time. Over the years, one of the things that was identified by the women is that when they came out of prison, they didn't really have anywhere to go. The challenge was that, you know, families don't really support you, you know, especially if you're, you know, whatever the circumstances may have been. And so the brainchild of Mattie at that time was to develop a transition home. In Belize, there are halfway homes for the men. There isn't anything for women over 18. And so
which I'm really shocked to learn of, actually. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You'd think that there would be.
Well, we're hoping that Mattie is going to help, you know, push that up more. And so, Auntie's Place was developed. It was originally in 2018. We opened that house officially. And so, that's the main thing at that point.
So, Ms. Morant, what shape has the organization taken in 2026? What does it look like today?
Well, it looks a little differently, especially since COVID. However, the mission is still the same. We are now being re-registered because every year, I think, or every few years, they do that for the organizations that visit the prison.
Okay.
So once we get that approval, we'll go back in again once a month to the prisons. And we started expanding the vision a little bit to helping more women in the community. We did something for the men last year as well, which was in December. We had a International Men's Day dinner. And we had about 20 to 24 men come out that we were able to pour into because they are foundational as well. And this year we're doing 2 very, very pointed fundraisers since it's Women's Month in March to make sure that we're starting to outreach more to just the women of Belize rather than also the women in the prison. Because women are underserved, even though we seem to be the stronger species at times. We're underserved here, especially home. So we're doing, this month we're doing a sorrel juice fundraiser, and we're also doing a Balance the Scales self-defense course.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. All right, tell us a bit about both of the fundraisers. The sorrel juice fundraiser, and what is, give us some details about
You like sorrel juice?
I love sorrel
Same.
juice. Yes. Awesome. And sorrel wine.
Same.
Well, Miss Sandra Felix, who's one of the members, she's also the person that handles the jewelry making that we teach to these women and some of the tie-dye and crafting type stuff. She actually is a master at making sorrel juice with ginger and all the fixings. So we decided that we're going to do that so that it can raise some funds, and for the people that enjoy it, you'll have that and that's on the 28th. If we get the orders in, it's $20 per gallon. If we get them in by the 21st of the month, that would be great so that we can fill those orders. And they've been pouring in. Apparently a lot of people love sorrel.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a Caribbean thing. And then you mentioned the second fundraiser.
Yes, that is the self-defense course. We know that domestic violence and things of that nature are a huge push right now in Belize to have some eyes spotlight on it, but I don't think as women we focus so much on what we can do on our end to somewhat protect ourselves in a way. So as it's Women's Month, it's fitting. So we're going to have it at the Martial Arts Academy on 7 Matron Roberts Street in Cinderella. We're going to have approximately about 20 women there to come in and learn just basic self-defense and how to protect themselves in the event something goes wrong.
I want to go back to the background that was shared earlier about, this beginning from Peace Corps work. And when I think of Peace Corps work, I think of that immersive cultural exchange that takes place, these volunteers coming from different countries and trying to share their skill set in one way or another. I also wonder, how did that transition from that to providing support specifically to these women in the prison? And at what point did you guys realize that this is where we want to keep our focus at because it deserves this type of recognition?
Well, with Miss Virginia, currently she has this segment on Creme Radio on Sunday mornings, Moments of Inspiration. And that's her ministry, and it's been her ministry for almost 30 years. And so the women in the prison listen to that show every Sunday. And so that was one of the direct communications that we had. And so based on that, they started thinking that, these are the women that would be most in need of our assistance. And so that's where their focus started out. And so the women that joined afterwards, we just kept supporting. And even after they made that transition to leave Belize, we still continue with the vision.
What from your experience are the needs or experiences of women in prison?
Skill set. There's a stigma. You go to prison, nobody not trust you, they don't want you around. One of the challenges with the prison at the time was when you leave the prison, they give you like $10. And so if you don't want inmate to go from like PG or Corozal or somewhere, that $10 basically can get you from the prison to the roadside.
You can't get home.
Even if you come into the city, so it put that woman back in that vulnerable position for try whatever reasons they might have to do, forget back to the original place of their home, or whatever the challenges were that sent them to prison. That would be like an invitation for just, you're there at your lowest point, there's nobody to give you the assistance leaving out. And so the vision was that everybody deserves one second chance, everybody deserves to feel human, everybody deserves to feel like they're worthy of something. And so giving them that space that you're there at prison, you have to share a room, you have to share everything. You come out, you got a room your own, you got your bed, you got your own space, you got people to support you. If you have to learn something to make you can make your own money, if you move on in your life, so you don't have to depend on people. And so that's the main reason why is it that when these women come out, and sometimes it might be just counseling. Maybe they do have families that would help support them. Different times before there was Matarota, before there was Anti-Space, we would help with getting a room for them to get somewhere to stay. Just different, whatever it is that they might need at that point leaving prison, however we can support them for them to reintegrate back.
I imagine something like Auntie's Place it costs a lot to keep up though, having just a shared space, whether it's a couple rooms or a home. For anybody, it costs to keep a house going. Sure. And so what does that look like in terms of getting support for this venture, Auntie's Place in particular? Are you guys getting the funding that's needed to keep it alive?
Well, that is one of the main reasons why we're doing fundraising.
All right, let's talk about it. How can we support?
Yes. And so that's why we're asking the public to please come and support us when it comes to the sorrel juice. Have the women come out when it comes to the self-defense course. Through the course of the year, we have different activities that we will be promoting. And so we just ask people to continue supporting us in what it is we're doing because it goes for a very worthy cause.
Yeah. And so is Auntie's Place like a house? What is it like? Is it like an apartment type complex? It's a full home. How much rooms?
3.
3 rooms. And the ladies all live there together. And tell me about what a regular day looks like.
Well, absolutely. That is the vision. Right now we have one that is in-home.
Okay.
And that has been, being able to start small has been a blessing, to be able to see how the system and how the programs would work.
Yeah.
So she's reintegrated extremely well.
Okay.
She's very successful now. She has her own job outside of the home and those types of things. So by teaching the skill sets that there's crafting, crochet, maybe you can build that into a business. Gardening, maybe you can do something with that. There's also, that's Fresh Pond.
Okay.
There's being able to make jewelry that might turn into some type of money making for you. It helps you to feel like, now I'm worthy enough of being back in society.
Yeah.
I don't have to do what I once did. And that's why. And so we've partnered with actually Thistle Farms out of Tennessee. They've been really, really helpful with getting some funding, and then the fundraising that we do. The men's brunch last year was a fundraiser as well. So those types of things help us to keep the doors open, because yes, there is overhead.
Yeah.
And
is there a time frame of how long the ladies are staying at Auntie's home, and then, you know, they have to transition and try to be independent as well?
Well, minimum 1 year.
Okay.
And there is a vetting process so that they have some skin in the game, if you would.
Okay.
They have to want to stay. They have to want to see a change in their lives. They have to know what the rules are for the home. So there's quite an extensive vetting process, but not too strict that any woman coming out of the prison wouldn't be able to.
To meet it. What I'm hearing you saying is that it's a growing vision.
Yes.
And that this one woman that's in the home right now is sort of leading the charge.
Absolutely.
Right? A testing per se. And what I also hear is that she's doing good.
She's doing very well.
And that it's proof that the concept can work.
Absolutely.
What made you all decide to jump back in full force in 2026 after, I don't know, some sort of latency, if you would?
Well, as you can see, some of these types of programs, especially when you have something like a COVID or something that shuts down an entire country, it stops movement.
Yeah.
And then having to rebuild relationships with the prisons or with who we want to serve is always a challenge. So getting new members in, Roxanne was so fortunate that when I moved back home to be able to get involved and assist. Having people to support us is a challenge. Having people to see the vision the way we see it is a challenge. So always having events like these, and we're so grateful to you guys for helping to get the word out, that people know that yes, there is something for women as they transition outside of the prison walls, and that we can help them. And being able to constantly do that, it takes manpower, it takes work. So sometimes Roxanne has her own, you know, she has her own life, she has work, so do I. But these are volunteer things that we do to help, and we need to get the word out consistently.
I think if you continue to speak like this, people will catch the vision. This final question for me, Miss Marin, based on your experience, what's one of the key advice you would give to a woman that may have been through that sort of experience, to get from a place of feeling guilty and remorse to a place of freedom, if you would?
Mattie Women's Outreach Organization is a faith-based organization. We come from all different spectrums of religious backgrounds. And so, first and foremost, God is the first person in our lives. And so we believe as children of God, none of us are perfect. We all fall short of the glory of God at times. But that doesn't give us a reason to be condemned eternally. And so this is a second chance for you to reinvent yourself, for you to show the world that you can do better and to be better.
Yeah.
All right. Well, ladies, we've been talking about the fundraising. We've been talking about the work that you guys do. But how can we support, aside from when that fundraiser and the sorrel juice and the sorrel wine done, you know, how can we support the Mr. Wu?
I love that. Thank you, because that is how we're affectionately called.
Yeah.
And the Mattie Roeder Women's Outreach Group is on Facebook, so you can follow us on our Facebook page. We attempt to post every week so that you know what's coming up, how you can support us best. And the phone number is 635-5657 to reach out regarding any of the fundraisers. That would be the point of contact to say, I need help, someone I know needs help. That's the best way to reach us. Would you say that's the best way to get support?
That sure is.
All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the work that you are doing, and we wish you guys all the best.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you for having
All
us.
right, so speaking about faith-based, when we come back, we have a conversation on the Gospel Expo 2026 event taking place this weekend. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Get your body sculpted with gym equipment and accessories from Benny's. Quality and savings.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
The NEBL heads into weekend number 4 on Friday night. The Belmopan Trojans try to bounce back into the winning column against the number 1 team in the league, the Orange Walk Running Rebels, 8 p.m. at the UB Gymnasium. Then on Saturday night, a big showdown of the ballers as the high-flying Kayo Western Ballers is locked and ready to crush the powerful and tall Dangriga Dream Ballers, 8 p.m. at the Victor Galvez Stadium. And in Corozal, the Corozal Spartans look to turn their season around with their first win against the Biting Tiger Sharks from San Pedro in their home opener, 8 p.m. at the Andre Campos Civic Center. The NEBL Girls plus performance by Yastalia, giveaways at all games, and at halftime, the big National Sports Council $5,000 shooting challenge. So make this weekend an NEBL weekend, sponsored by the Government of Belize.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Calling. Double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart.
Full-Tech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Full-Tech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Full-Tech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. This is our third conversation for this morning, and we're kind of keeping it on the spiritual side. And we have joining us the founder of Gospel Expo Belize, none other than the man himself, Mr. Richard Smith. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Paul.
It's a pleasure having you on set. Mr. Richard go way back. Way back. The man know me from a Lee boy, they run long in a brief, right?
Yes.
And so it's a pleasure to have you this morning to talk about this year's Gospel Expo. How many years have you been running Gospel Expo? 14 years.
And Paul, actually, I feel good to be here because it's my happy place. This is, I see Channel 5 as a great sponsor in Gospel Expo because 14 years ago, it was right here. We were talking about Gospel Expo. And we kicked that off, taking Showground to a next level.
Yeah, and so you're saying that the first time the vision was launched, it was here on Channel 5.
That's when we exposed it to the nation.
And now 14 years later, what are you most grateful for about this event?
Well, first of all, Gospel Expo purpose, and Belize need to understand why Gospel Expo was developed. Gospel Expo was developed for one, to transforming agriculture and trade showgrounds. You know, that was where settling the beef, okay, bloodshedding and so forth. 14 years ago, it was really mad. It was sad. And so we went in there. It's like, I was always saying, one of these days I will come to this place and we will do something spiritual to transform this area. And so we engaged in Gospel Expo. The NATS committee embraced us. Everybody was excited about it. We partnered with Word at Work, and we launched out that, for one, that youths can look forward to an annual event that they could come and release themselves and just enjoy a quality time gospel-wise. It was where artists, local Belizean artists can showcase, but I guess Belizean artists haven't grabbed onto it yet, how they could start to come. It's for you to develop your skills and expose your talents. Secondly is to allow the church to come together, because on Sunday we have our United Church service. And that has been a great highlight, a fresh word for the nation, looking at what we can do together to be impacting this nation for Christ.
Before we get any farther into the event, I have to ask, because you made mention of the fact that you all wanted to do something spiritual on the showgrounds to kind of combat the violence and the
Yes.
bloodshed that was taking place at the Agriculture and Trade Show ground. And if you're from the west side, you know all too well about the violence that would often take place.
Yeah.
And but if you're from any part of the country, my question is, without getting too deep, how does these types of event lead to change in that type of event? Is it like a spiritual thing that takes place?
Yes. Well, basically, like I said, it was a tough situation for the police department for the security part. Secondly, it was national. It's supposed to be a national agriculture and trade show, but it was become override by violence and alcohol, and we've seen a total transformation take place. And that is a good thing about when the church get involved. We go in there, we prepare the grounds. So the idea of the church going there is not just, we could go into Belpan, but we are preparing, and thank God for NATS because they allow us to come before their event. So we are preparing the ground spiritually that God will protect and security will be there. And so we pray over those areas, like what the prayer says, wherever foot shall tread upon shall be yours. So we are going in there, we're praying, we're taking authority over the wickedness that goes on. There's a lot of stuff goes on that need to be transformed. So now we're getting back agriculture and trade show. So we just need to see less of those alcohol that is killing this nation. And so Gospel Expo is definitely doing a wonderful job to bring in international artists, mixed with local artists, showcasing local artists. This time we're going to have Pastor Frederick Gordon, is a solo artist that is coming out with some new music. We have Vision Juvenil from San Antonio, a young band from San Antonio that we're highlighting, Spanish and English band. Along with that, Joshua Ali from Trinidad and Tobago,
Yes.
which is going to be an awesome time.
Yes, so we've had Frederick Gordon on the show a few times promoting his music, and we love him here. He does amazing music. And then everybody, well, too familiar with Gospel Expo knows about Joshua Ali. What can be expected from Joshua Ali?
Well, this year Joshua Ali is doing a lot. I mean, he have launched out as a pastor now, and he's ministering in Trinidad. And he's big up on worship. And so Sunday morning, we now have a united worship service. He's going to be leading our united worship service and minister together. And Saturday night, he's coming out with some new music. This year, for the first time, he's been backed up by Belizean artists, Belizean musicians that are practicing right now to back
It's a
him
live
up.
band.
It's a live band.
Wow.
So over the past couple of years, he came, he was struck. So now he's doing live music, and he's coming in today. He's flying in today, so hopefully we'll be able to get him to catch some news, give a little shout out on the news.
Yes.
But I mean, this is very exciting, Paul, because it costs a lot, man. I tell you, it costs a lot. But for the sake of what God is doing in this nation, right now, as you look at celebrating Christ through concert, this is a time, this is a moment. We have Christopher Wright coming back. We have Sinach coming back. We have this past week,
we had Positive
and Sharon Gardner and Heavenly's Flodala, her daughter, and several artists that were performing. And if you look at it, Corozal is going to have one. Belize City is going to have a next one on the 31st. You have Dangriga is going to have one. Sagnas is going to have. And then we are having here this weekend. Free concert this weekend at National Culture and Trade Showground, 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. You can't miss it. It's going to be great. It's free. Come in, be part of this time, and let's prepare the nation. 2026 is a special year for Belize. The year of Jubilee. God is doing some great things. He's stirring up stuff, exposing stuff, and bring us into a new dimension.
What do you think about the wave of gospel events taking place?
I think this year is a serious awakening is taking place. And we're going to see some new artists coming out, more boldness. And I think while the government is crying out for scared and concerned about the cartel spillover, we are the watchmen. I think that this is a year of the church and government networking together strong and come together and use the resources. In the Old Testament it says, let the worshiper go first. And so worship is happening in Corozal. We need that in Corozal because there's no cartel that can cross unless the Lord allow it to. All right? So the power of prayer is awesome, and that's why we don't take Showground lightly. And I'm calling on every church from every district. You guys came to Showgrounds when Agriculture and Trade Showground, you charter bus, you come all the way from PG and Corozal. Let's come for a good cause. Let's worship God together from the showground, prepare the ground, and make National Agriculture and Trade Showgrounds going to be a peaceful one and purpose in agricultural development.
If these events are so costly, and I know all too well because for a couple of times I've been a part of the organizing team, and so I'm familiar with you having to scramble to get support for these events. Why do you maintain the free entrance in the face of how costly these events are?
Well, like I said, making it free, the things have changed. We're bringing artists, you have to get work permit, you have to, all tickets and so forth. It's a lot of coordination that needs to goes on. And secondly, not sure how much the outset is going to be. I feel my thing is I want to present, and I give myself everything in this that I want to develop this thing. Right now, this cost us $17,000, and I think we are at $5,000 so far. And we actually see the night when the artist is there, we shot $8,000. And we got to believe God that something will happen by tomorrow morning, because these artists are heading back and they got to get an honorarium, something to bless them with to go back. And not in Belize, but also in US. Yeah. How does it work? But God has been faithful because He desired that this will happen in the country. We are the watchmen. Paul, what I'm saying is Belmopan have been a unique city above all different cities. We have a tight connection with church, city council, and police working together. We have solved every crime except 2. Only 2 have not been fully solved, right? Because the coordinates between the church praying. The Bible says, I am the Lord who sees. He's a watchman. He calls to be watchmen. And when the church come together with government, we will see transformation take place in this country.
No, all right. So you've helped us to understand that Gospel Expo is much bigger than the event itself. Yes. That there's rippling effect and that there is a domino effect of change happening in the community. The event takes place this weekend. Who is this event for? Who are you inviting?
This, number one, Saturday night is mainly catered towards the young people, but I mean adults come as well. Everybody is invited. But mainly to have, Paul, after all the work that we put in this, I mean, tomorrow morning, the work starts. People enjoy one meal, which took place on Saturday night. But we are preparing the meal from long time. And so when I get there and I see all these young people jumping up and dancing and shouting up, it's like, how could I stop this? No, I can't stop this. I got to make this, there's more wicked, evil stuff. I've seen the young people falling apart as a result of 10 grams of marijuana. We think it was good, but it's destroying the population of young people in this country. And all we can do is we got to do something to combat the attack on the young people. So when they come Saturday night and start to dance up, it's like, man, I can't stop this. Yeah. Then Sunday morning come and they say, ice on the cake. It's like, see, the churches come together, we are united together, worshiping God, the fresh revelation comes forward. The word of the Lord came to go and do likewise. It's like, wow, I give myself for that purpose.
Good. So the event kicks off at what time on Saturday night?
5:30 on Saturday evening.
5:30.
And we go until 10 o'clock.
We go until 10.
Then Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, United Church service, right at the grounds as well. Everybody's invited to come join us for church service. Joshua Ali will be performing there as well, the United Worship Team and ministry times, and it's going to be a great time for churches to connect with us.
Who is, do you also have Eddie Neblet? That's a part of the lineup. Good. Now, tell us how can people support?
Well, we are still looking for sponsors.
Yes.
People would sponsor to or donate to the financial cause. All the expense is it's coming to $17,000. And so anybody we are encouraging, especially business, in Belmopan especially, Belmopan have been experiencing some serious crime situation that only way we can diffuse those is raise up a standard of excellence through spiritual warfare. And so we are asking the business to get behind us, donate, be a part of the sponsorship. We always thank God for people like Builders Hardware, Quality Poultry, the Inner Twin Palm, and these government ministers, Ministry of Finance, all of these different ministries that have been contributing financially. So we're looking forward to more. We're still waiting. We sent out our letter. We're hoping that they will respond positively and become part of this.
Those who want to contact you directly, how do they do that?
My number is 615-0710, and we definitely would appreciate every financial contribution to make this a reality.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Rashid. And as you said, Joshua Ali is landing today, so we do hope he has safe travels coming into Belize, and that he also has a great time in Belize. I know he enjoys being here as well. So
well, last year we had to do something of a low profile because the change of U.S. president. There was some restriction that if you come out, you won't be able to get back in. So a lot of the artists had gone on pause, but this year is going to be the first year they're coming out
back
again. So we are excited about that.
Excellent, very exciting stuff. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you too.
All right, so with that, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we have a final conversation for this morning. Stay tuned. Be right back.
That's me. My data and I really need to get my order out today.
Really? Well, you can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that works?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart Group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
For decades, BEL has powered Belize's growth and progress, lighting homes, energizing industries, and fueling national development. But in a world reshaped by extreme weather patterns, digital transformation, and evolving customer needs, the future of energy demands a new approach. The future of energy is now, and it's not just about new technology, it's about people and how we use, manage, and store power smarter. BEL is leading the transformation, blending modern advancements with the wisdom of sustainable energy practices. Integrating technologies will redefine how Belize produces and uses energy. With distributed generation and smart grid technologies, customers are becoming power partners. Energy is no longer a one-way street. BEL is making key investments that will reinforce the grid to make this a reality, ensuring energy security for generations. At BEL, we are more than an energy provider. We work to safeguard Belize's energy future, which will have demand response programs, where customers will be able to shift use during peak hours to take advantage of the new time of use or off-peak rate structures, customer energy portals,
real-time insights and tools to track usage and manage energy smarter. Smart metering, advanced metering infrastructure, faster, safer service and actionable energy insights. Distributed generation, integrating rooftop solar, microgrids and battery storage for two-way power flows into the national grid. Together, we are bringing you a brighter tomorrow.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Call me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
Welcome back. This is our final conversation, and we're also highlighting business excellence at the Spanish Lookout Expo. We are joined virtually this morning by two guests. Joining us is Jimmy Braun. He's the sales manager of Reimers in Spanish Lookout. Also joining us is Norman Dueck. He is the managing director of Universal Hardware. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us and welcome.
Good morning, Sabrina. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sabrina and Paul.
All right.
Good morning, Belize.
Yes. So we're talking about the Spanish Lookout Expo. Can one of you gentlemen speak with us about the organization of this event?
Yeah, so I think it's important to note, Paul, that the Business Chamber of Spanish Lookout is organizing it, and Jimmy and myself are here as the directors of the Business Chamber. And so the Business Chamber of Spanish Lookout is organizing it, and it's the Commercial and Industrial Expo.
All right, good. So talk a bit about what planning looks like when the Business Expo gets together and decides to put off another Spanish Lookout Expo.
Well, I think that we have done this for a couple times now already. I think this is our 9th Expo, and so we try to learn and get better as we go. Particularly one of the things that we wanted to improve this year is that we wanted to get the people into our parking lots faster. And so we don't want you to wait on the road. We want you to be at the Expo.
Okay, so so that was a logistical issue that you all had last year, correct?
Yes, we had so many guests that came from all over Belize that we had a little bit of a parking. It took a little bit of a time to get you from the road into the parking lot, and so every Expo we try to make sure that we improve. We get more better and better at making it more efficient.
Gentlemen, tell me a bit about the popularity of this expo. As you mentioned, there has had to be some changes to accommodate people who show up year after year because of their interest in this event. What is it about the Spanish Lookout Expo that really brings and attracts Belizeans from across the country to come and see it?
Jimmy?
Yeah, so one of the things is that we're always tight on space when it comes to the exhibiting booths. That was your question on how we accommodate, right?
Yeah, and also what is she also asked, what's leading to the popularity? Why do so many people come from across the country to attend the expo?
No, absolutely. So one of the things, last expo, we were able to put another building there, and that added another 56 booths. And this year we've not extended the buildings, but we've added a few booths where we could. And one of the things that makes it very nice is it's family oriented, it's professional, it's a place where you can come and see a little bit of what the whole country of Belize has to offer, right? There's businesses from across the country, and then it's catered towards family, it's family friendly. We have lots of kids activities, so bring the kids out, they can have a lot of fun there. We have horseback riding, we have other activities, we have a petting zoo,
That sounds fun.
cattle show. And so it's a non-alcoholic, it's a very peaceful, safe environment for the whole family. So, and of course, to add to that, Norman was talking on the parking already, is we have free parking, free entrance. So all the money that you come to spend is to spend on yourself and to have a good time with your family, right?
I saw a woman petting a bull in a video. If I go there, can I pet a bull?
Absolutely. No, bulls are considered pets.
Okay.
Huh? Not where I'm from.
Go ahead, Norman.
So Paul, to add to that, we'll have a cattle show there. The Cattle Association in Spanish Gulf is organizing a cattle show. They'll have a internationally judge from Texas there. So you'll be able to come and see the best breeding stock that Belize has.
Wow.
You can come and see them. So there's a lot of things that there's a lot of reasons that people love the expo. But I think the biggest reason is that it's a safe, family-friendly event, and it shows business from all over Belize. We have exhibitors from San Pedro, from PG to Corozal, from even Guatemala. And so it's a place where it's not just Spanish Lookout. It's being organized in Spanish Lookout, but it's a place where you can see businesses from all over Belize, done in a way that is efficient, safe, and family and business friendly.
How many businesses are we looking at this year, gentlemen?
We have over 200 booths exhibiting products, and then we have food and drink booths. I don't know, another, Jimmy, how many food and drink booths?
We have another about 60 food and drink booths.
Wow,
that's just a lot. Wow.
So this is really a massive event,
yes.
And I'm sure there's people that have been there that are watching, like Paul and Sabrina. Oh no, well we haven't been there. We haven't been to the expo, and perhaps this is the year we should visit the expo. Wouldn't you all say so, gentlemen?
100%. This is the year, and one thing that we've done this year that we haven't done before is we've targeted and particularly invited all the high schools in Belize to come and do an excursion on Friday. Friday is a slower day when lots of people are still at work, and so we've invited schools, we've targeted schools, and so we're anticipating, we're hoping to see a lot of high school students come and see. This is the one place where you can come and you will see a ton of different businesses. You can see what Belize really has to offer. And I think that we should entrepreneurship is something that we should inspire more of our young kids into. Build Belize. Don't just think about becoming an employee, but be an employer. Be somebody that builds something. And so we're hoping that this expo will inspire innovation, that it will inspire people to become business people.
Jimmy, if you can speak a bit, just expound on that. What is at the heart of the innovation that Spanish Lookout and community members are leading in this country? What is at the heart of that, Jimmy?
I think one of the things is that, one, we need to know that if we do together, come together as a couple of individuals, as a community, as a country, there's a lot bigger things that we can achieve than what we do on our own. And just to come out and see that it's possible, right? I think often people think that there's not opportunities in the country. but there is a lot of opportunities. And just to come out to an event like that and connect with people, see what they do, where they started off, it's very encouraging. One of the highlights for me personally as being part of organizing is to see small businesses come out and just share how, after attending, how it made a difference in their business, right? And so I know recently there was a post on social media from, I believe it's called Farm to Perfection. I believe they're in the Cayo district. They shared how they attended last Expo and how it boosted their business, right? And so just to connect with people like that, be encouraged and pick up ideas. There's a lot of opportunities in this country. All it takes is for somebody to take the leap and go in there and do it. And to come to an expo like this, there's a lot of information that can be shared and picked up and used, right? And that's one of the things that we want to do, is give those that want to make a bigger impact in the business community to come out and get that opportunity.
What about deals? What can people expect at this event when it comes to deals? Because it's something that also draws people towards these types of events. Do you all consider that?
Absolutely, Paul. So the businesses have, every individual business has their own deals, but I know that that there's people like Tropic Rice and Circle R. They have, you can come and you can pick up your rice at a rock bottom deal. I know people like West Track and Caribbean Tire. They have deals there where Universal Hardware, where you can pick up maybe a discount coupon and then go and shop in their businesses countrywide, with extended days. And so people can come and pick up deals here. People can come and see what's available. People can come and really experience entrepreneurship, experience business, come and be inspired.
What are some specific deals that maybe we can expect from Reimers and Universal Hardware?
Well, I don't know if I should speak very much into one particular business, because we are really organizing the event.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
let me make sure that the people know that there will be fantastic deals to be picked up. I can assure you that from West Track to Caribbean Tire, from Quality Poultry to Smart to Soul Belize, Universal Hardware, they will all have fantastic deals. All the gold sponsors will have fantastic deals, and I know that Expo-wide, you'll pick up deals and you'll see stuff that you didn't know existed in Belize.
What I appreciate from the videos that we've seen also is that there are activities for kids. So you've talked about the petting zoo. I also saw a trolley there that's kind of giving kids rides. And then I think you said that there's an excursion taking place on Friday. So this is also is family centered, but there's specific activities for kids, correct?
Yeah, there's lots of kid activities. So there's the train ride. We have a mechanical bull there. So for kids, they can come and experience mechanical bull rides. We have bouncy houses there for all age kids. There's the petting zoo, where a lot of variety of, almost like a mini zoo, but with
that's
smaller
so
animals,
fun.
right? And so you can come and see them. There's a cattle show. So there's a lot of fun kids activities. And then of course there's all the food and the snacks and the treats for kids as well, right?
All right, so remind us one more time of the date and the location of the event.
So the time is both days, Friday and Saturday, March 13th and 14th, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And it's at Countryside Park. It's in Spanish Gulch, Countryside Park. So there should be signage that will lead you there.
All right.
For those that know, and if you just search Countryside Park, Spanish Gulch, you will find the location.
Would you guys like to acknowledge the sponsors that have made this year's event possible?
Yes, for sure. I would like to highlight the gold sponsors: Caribbean Tire and Motors, Quality Poultry Products, Smart, Soul Petroleum, Universal Hardware, West Track, and then we have quite a few of silver sponsors. We want to thank. We're grateful for them as well. So yeah, those are a few of the sponsors that we want to highlight, and we're very grateful for the partnership that we can have.
All right. Any final thoughts? Anything else? Any parting words you'd like to leave viewers with?
I would just like to encourage all the country of Belize, everybody, if you need a good activity that doesn't cost a lot of money, but you can get a lot of values worth, come to Spanish Goat this Friday and Saturday to the Expo and pick up deals. We have about 50% of the exhibitors that are there are outside of Spanish Goat, so these are not businesses from within Spanish Goat. So there's a lot of variety there, and so come on out and enjoy a good time.
Lastly, for me, I imagine with the extension that you guys have already made in trying to accommodate the additional booths or the additional businesses that have tried to be a part of the event, is there any more space available for entrepreneurs and businesses that would like to join?
For this Expo, we are actually we sell out fairly quickly. We don't have the registration open for very long until we have the booths filled up. But it's already a good time to come and look and think about next Expo. It happens every 2 years, so it's biannual. And so they can already start planning and make their reservations early for next Expo.
Every 2 years, okay.
Wow.
All right. Well, Jimmy, Norman, thank you both so much for joining us this morning and sharing information on this exciting event. We appreciate both of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul and Sabrina, for having us.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Okay, so with that, we're going to take another break, and when we come back, we're going to wrap this Thursday morning show up. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Haven't updated your information recently? Well, kick off the new year as a winner. RF&G Insurance is giving you a free chance to win every month. Entering is easy. Just chat with us on WhatsApp and update your information. That's it. You'll be automatically entered into our monthly raffle for a chance to win awesome prizes. Don't wait. Message us on WhatsApp and update your info today. RF&G Insurance. It pays to get it right.
Greetings, Belize. It is my privilege to address you as we officially open Women's Month 2026 under the theme Balance the Scales. This theme is both a challenge and a promise. It calls us to build a Belize where fairness is lived, where dignity is upheld, and where every woman and girl can stand on equal ground. Belizean women are caregivers, community builders, innovators, and entrepreneurs. They shape the young minds of our nation. They are artists, farmers, healers, and leaders. Their resilience anchors families. Their creativity fuels progress, and their leadership moves Belize forward. We honor the diversity of Belizean womanhood, young women, senior women, women with disabilities, and LGBTQ+ women. Each carries a story that strengthens the fabric of our society. As we celebrate, we must also reflect. Balancing the scales means confronting the barriers that still exist: economic inequality, underrepresentation in decision-making, and the continued threat of violence and discrimination. It means examining where inequity appears in our systems, in our policies, and even in our cultural norms, and making deliberate shifts towards fairness. Through the Ministry of Human Development, Family Support, and Gender Affairs, we are strengthening coordinated responses to gender-based violence, expanding family support services, and advancing gender-responsive policies that promote economic participation and leadership for women. As a nation, we remain committed to strengthening protection systems, expanding opportunities, and ensuring equitable access to services, and engaging men and boys as active partners in building respectful communities. When women in Belize are safe, families are stronger. When women are empowered, communities are more resilient. And when girls are supported, our nation's future is secured. Balancing the scales doesn't diminish anyone. It strengthens us all. This Women's Month, let us move beyond symbolism and continue the structural work that ensures equality is not only spoken about, but experienced. Together, let us shift the weight toward justice. Together, let us build a Belize where every woman and girl can rise, contribute, and thrive. Happy Women's Month, Belize.
Glenfield Dennison was caught trying to charge BTL for negotiations on behalf of former workers.
He insists he never charged the workers group a cent and claims the invoice was only a negotiating tactic.
If the invoice was just a negotiating tactic, why would Dennison ask BTL to pay the legal fees as part of settlement? And if BTL had agreed, who would have received payment? Dennison, of course, because he sent the invoice the day after the last negotiations to be considered with the 4.5% interest requested by BCWJ. What's worse, the cost of legal work submitted is grossly inflated. Those are senior counsel rates, and Dennison is not a senior counsel. As to the tax identification number on the invoice, no such TIN number is registered with GST. So, we must also ask whether he is licensed with the FIU as required. There's also the question of whether as a Crown Counsel Dennison violated the public service rules which state a judicial and legal officer shall not engage in any private legal work or private business of a legal nature. It's time for him to stop the games and come clean.
Welcome back. We are winding things down, and it's been a wonderful Thursday morning. A huge thank you to everyone who joined us. We spoke about conservation, Paul. We spoke about efforts being done through other community agents as well, trying to steer change. We also talked about faith, you know, events that are taking place coming up, and then finally connecting businesses as well through the Spanish Lookout Expo. Exciting times. It seems like a very busy month as well, aside from it being Women's Month. But thank you to everyone who joined us this morning. I also saw some of you engaging in the comments section as well. Thank you for that. If you are celebrating a birthday today on March 12th, happy birthday to you. If you'd like to give a birthday shout out, or if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can send us an email at oie@greaterbelize.com.
You can also catch us live on our socials. That's Facebook at Open Your Eyes BC, Instagram for highlights at OIE Belize, and TikTok. TikTok is, well, that's our phone number.
OpenYourEyes.bz.
675-5555. And then TikTok, OpenYourEyes.bz.
And then you can do us a favor and join us again tomorrow for What the Friday, when you open your eyes
and start your mind in right.
Until then, be sure to keep your eyes, your mind,
and your heart open.
We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.